This is yet another MBA’11, a podcast featuring conversations with the greatest of all time MBA alumni from the Naveen Jindal School of Management at the University of Texas at Dallas. We're here to celebrate the outcomes of graduate management education and to identify remarkable examples of how the MBA program here at the Jindal School has transformed the lives of our alumni. Now, here's Dr. Monica Powell, Senior Associate Dean and Graduate Dean at the Jindal School. Take it away, Monica.
Well, hello there. I'm Monica Powell. I'm the Senior Associate Dean and Graduate Dean here at the Jindal School of Management at the University of Texas at Dallas. Well, today we are so honored to have one of my favorite MBA alums here on the podcast. So I'd like to welcome Elijah Metcalf.
Hey.
How do you feel about being an MBA GOAT?
I'm very honored and very excited to be talking to you, and really excited to be able to speak about my experience.
You know, you had a remarkable journey as an MBA student, and you were remarkable in terms of your background. I mean, if I remember correctly, you were a theater major.
That's correct. Yes. So my undergrad was in theater, and 4-year Bachelor of Arts degree. Didn't take a single business class. Didn't take accounting. I did take math and science, but nothing that at all prepared me for the MBA here.
So do we want to admit to the MBA GOAT podcast listeners that you went from theater to audit?
Absolutely. Well, I think that's a tremendous journey you can make here at UTD that, you know, coming into this, I did not know what internal audit was. I had never heard the term before. Someone said audit, I thought taxes. However, coming here, learned what internal audit was, and now I've put together a 10-year career so far, and hopefully at least 20 or 30 more years after this.
So when you think back, Elijah, to your time in the program.
Yes.
And to me, it seems like absolutely yesterday.
Sure.
But it wasn't.
No, it was 10 years ago.
So when you think back to that time, what stands out is kind of those transformative moments that took a theater major through accounting and core finance and marketing to find their way. How did you find your way into audit?
From the forefront, it was meeting with a counselor. So I was pretty proactive in knowing that I knew I wanted to work in business. I'd had some experience working in sales. And so I knew sales wasn't for me, but I wanted to find what is it in business that I want to do. And so meeting with a counselor in that first week I was here, got some great advice of look into internal audit. We have the best internal audit graduate program in the world, so you might want to take a look at it. And so I took the advice. I went to the student chapter of the Institute of Internal Auditors and realized this is something I can do. I like business process. I like finding solutions to problems. I like getting folks to collaborate. And one thought at the forefront was I probably won't be the most technically amazing auditor. I may not know all the accounting tricks, but I could use my strength in communication with the skills I can learn here at UTD in auditing, and that's how I can put this career together.
So you not only went out to become an auditor, a very successful auditor 10 years out, but if I remember correctly, you have gone from senior internal auditor to internal audit manager to assistant vice president for internal audit. That is an amazing journey since you graduated from the program.
Yes, and not to interrupt and not to toot my own horn, but actually 6 months ago I became vice president of internal audit. So I think my resume I gave you didn't include that, so I'm sorry.
Well, congratulations on that promotion. I mean, that's really an incredible transformation. And you know, we talk to all kinds of prospective students that come from classical education backgrounds in English and in philosophy, sociology. We don't often talk to a lot of theater majors.
Sure.
But that experience is relevant for somebody that comes in. So you were able to come in and kind of learn the language of business, which is accounting, and attack all of those other courses, even though you maybe felt like you weren't adequately equipped, maybe on the quantitative side. Can you talk to prospective students about how you can still be successful even if you haven't been exposed?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think it starts with the desire. I think if you know that you want to better yourself through education and you know that you're willing to do the work, you want to put in the time. And for me, it was focus more than anything that I really didn't know. I didn't know if I wanted to become a teacher. I don't. I would be terrible as a teacher. So I do not have that great of patience. So, but to me, I had all this energy. I mean, I'm a fairly energetic person, but I didn't know where to put it career-wise. I knew in my personal life, but I didn't know in my career. And that's where with UTD, I thought the program did an excellent job with all of us so I was in the MBA cohort, so there was about 50 of us. I felt like everyone in that program knew where they wanted to go, even if they didn't come in. Now, some people knew they wanted to do marketing, knew they wanted to do supply chains. Other folks were like me and just knew, I need to figure this out and I need to get the education to move me in the career. But I felt like there's just such a great funnel that puts you in based on what are your strengths, what are your interests, what are you going to be passionate about, what kind of lifestyle do you want? And so that's what I felt like the program did amazing at that. And so to me, a lot of not having those quantitative skills, it was leveraging my classmates who did and being in study groups and getting that and saying, hey, look, I'll do the presentation. I'll get up in front of 1,000 people and speak all day long. Even though I don't know what I'm talking about, I'll do it. But can you help me if I help you? And so it's kind of that trading of skills, that the commerce of the currency of the department is what value, what strength do you have? And can you share that? And can we gain from that?
I think a lot of prospective students fear that if they don't come in with an asset, they're going to be lost. But what you're describing is this great environment of collaboration that everybody can make a contribution, even if they don't have an undergraduate degree in business.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great way. Everyone has an asset, whether they realize it or not. Because I came in not necessarily knowing what my asset was and then realizing, oh, okay, I can get up and speak in front of people. Or, oh, I may be a little whimsical and have a little imagination. And so when we're trying to come up with how to present something, maybe my ideas are going to be this. I'm not necessarily the best just production, get it done. That's going to be somebody else. But trying to find those, there's all those personality tests, and I always find them really enjoyable because I'm always like, oh, yeah, that's me. But I think knowing that you do have this value, if you have the desire, if you have the habits and you're willing to put that in, you'll find yourself in this program and you'll have a lot of people who really support you and who are going to help get you there.
It's really funny to me that you use the word whimsical and creative. You don't typically describe a prospective MBA student as whimsical. So I'm really curious. There's got to be people who you knew as an undergrad or faculty that you've since met or your high school English teacher who might say, Elijah, you became an internal auditor? So can you tell us what that reaction has been? Sure.
No, it's funny because I even noticed it when as part of the program, in the summer, I was taking a class, but then I decided, I was going to work in internal audit. And so, we have a great program for getting internships, paid internships at that. And so that was one of the things when I was doing the interviews for that, people were saying like, help me understand, you were a theater undergrad. You worked for the David Letterman show. You did plays and sound for plays. Now you're in audit. What is this? And I kind of had to come up with an elevator pitch. I had to come up with how can I put this into a minute because the story's a lot longer. So how can I condense it? But to me, it was kind of this, I always kind of put it through sales to say, well, in theater, I needed a job. I needed to make some money. Sales was an easy avenue because I can talk to people. I'm comfortable with people. Then it turned into, well, in sales, a lot of the techniques is trying to solve a problem. So solve a problem. What does internal audit do? Takes problems and solves them. It's just a different way of going about it. So, but I'd say with folks who knew me, I do have friends from undergrad who are successful. Some are in movies. Some of them have been on Broadway. Some of them play in bands. And I keep in contact. They're some of my closest friends. And it is funny. They get it because of how passionately I talk about my work. So I talk about we had this audit. It was tough, but guess what? I got the SVP of this area to agree to do this, and he didn't see it, but then when I explained it this way, he did, and then it had this cost saving. And they're like, if you can get that excited about that, then you are absolutely in the right career, because they're like, that means nothing to me. But, it's all about what gets you excited.
Well, you've definitely made the case that somebody that comes from a non-traditional background can be successful getting an MBA.
For sure.
You have absolutely made that case.
Good.
I would also like to congratulate you that you've made the case that accounting individuals and audit individuals are actually a lot of fun.
They can be. Oh, they absolutely can be. And that's where, so when I was working for General Motors subsidiary GM Financial based in Fort Worth, we always said, we're the fun audit. That was our kind of, and there was about 40 people in our department, and that was the whole thing, was that we're like, look, nobody wants to see internal audit. No one gets excited, but if we make a human connection, and maybe I don't want him, but Eli's not going to be a pain. Eli's not going to make me miserable. He's not the police. He's not the cops. He does want to help me, and if I can just deal with his nature, I can get over that he's going to be in my business for a little while. He actually will give me something of value. And that's where when I had staff members, I tried to talk to them about that, of like, if there's any stereotype of what they're thinking, literally be the opposite. If it's that you're going to be stodgy, be different. Make a joke. If it's going to be that you're closed and cut off, be friendly, give them a card, do something to kind of break it down. And I even had fun leveraging some of my more presenting skills to say, hey, what do we do about maybe doing a before the audit kind of overview of what happens during an audit? And we worked with our marketing department, said we're not the cops. We put a little logo of a cop with an X to it. Not that we back the blue, but, just saying that, hey, look, we're not that. We are here to be a business partner. We're there to be working with you. So anyway, there's ways that you can take some of the skills that you come in with, or some of the things you find fun, and work them into a career.
That's fabulous. I mean, what an amazing, just remarkable example of transformation that the MBA program can have on you.
This episode is brought to you by the UT Dallas MBA program, top ranked nationally and in Texas. The UT Dallas MBA combines a robust core with 13 concentrations. You have an option to add a second master's degree, and your choices for that include 5 STEM-designated programs. The MBA program has full-time, part-time, online, and other formats. They give you flexibility to fit your MBA education into your busy schedule. The skills and training you will receive are what top employers are looking for. For more information, visit us online at jindal.utdallas.edu/MBA.
Can you talk just a moment about the diversity? And there's lots of different types of diversity in a cohort MBA program.
Right.
But can you talk about the not so obvious diversity, like where people came from, their backgrounds, their expertise? Can you talk a little bit more about how that synergy is rather magical in terms of how that collaboration happens?
Oh, absolutely. One of the best things about any form of diversity is the combination of skills that you don't have to. That's what a true difference between a group being an assembly of individuals and a team being. It's exactly what you described. It's that magic. And it's to say, if everyone's the same thing and comes from the same thing, where do you learn? Where are you challenged? Where do you get to leverage these pieces? And so I felt very fortunate that I got to see the diversity within the MBA cohort. So, 50 of my peers, different age groups, obviously some folks international, about 40% international. So completely different life experience. Some folks fresh out of undergrad. Other folks have these longstanding careers. We had PhDs in our group. We had folks who had patents, I did plays, so you have all kinds of different things. But then on top of that, where people wanted to go, what people wanted the MBA program for. I found it fascinating that we had, an MD who wanted to get their MBA so that she could run her own practice. She wanted to have the business acumen where she really wanted to be a physician. She just didn't want to get swindled or wanted to know how to run her business. And I think that's fascinating to know that different side. But also as part of the internal audit program, it's not only MBA, it's a lot of accounting. We had folks from information systems. We had folks from these different career paths. And so getting to work with them, that was tremendous because we even had some fast track undergrads in the program. So I thought that was really cool to see, because I was in my late 20s. Some of these, kids, are late teens. And so to me, to get the perspective of what are these new things? What are the new things in education coming in? What are the things that interest them? Because these are the folks that are going to be my staff members. So how do I relate to them in this collaborative environment? But magic is the best word to describe it because it's truly that extra thing that you can't quantify, that everybody writes a page and there's 5 of you, but somehow there's 10 pages. And you're like, where'd these other 5 pages come from? Magic.
It really is. I mean, a little bit of fairy dust
sure.
that sprinkles around. So in your journey through the MBA program, which is now, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
God, it's amazing.
Right.
In 10 years, and I've been here a long time, Eli keeps coming back.
Oh yeah.
You're a give back guy. Now there are a lot of experiences that people can have, maybe open heart surgery and they feel like their life was saved and they want to give back the rest of their life, or a homeless person that's rescued off the street wants to pay it forward and bring more homeless people.
Yeah.
I'm just amazed and just honored that there's this pay it forward mentality that you have because you keep coming back. So what brings you back to pay it forward to those students that are MBA students now or prospective MBA students? Because I think you interview prospective students for us occasionally. So what's that motivation? Why does that exist? I mean, we are a small MBA program inside of a really giant graduate program of 4,500 students, inside of a big school of 9,000 plus students, inside a big university of 28,000 students. Why do you keep doing it?
Well, one reason is you keep having me back, and so I'm someone who's going to keep coming back until you kick me out. I'm like that cat you finally have to lock the door on. But I think it does have. Part of it has to do with the relationship I was able to make with, personnel, faculty, administration, Lisa as she was director of the program, now associate dean. So, being able to have that to give me avenues and asking is part of it. But on the other side, it's just the tremendous amount of gratitude I have. And that's something that coming into the program, I was younger and I had a good amount of anxiety, coming into my career and just overall in my life. And one of the things the biggest thing that UTD gave me was focus from a career, and I was able to let go. And it honestly, I've always done well in school. It's something that, but it's always been a bit of perfectionism I'd put on myself. I always put a lot of pressure. And that's something that I even leaned out to the counseling center here at UT Dallas, and they did a tremendous job. I mean, that's a service that I really recommend for folks to know it's there because anyone can deal with that, with things related to grief or depression or anxiety or these different things that hopefully are temporary, but at the same time, they can get through that, know that that's available. But in my life, I think as my anxiety has receded, my gratitude has just grown exponentially of being so thankful for the people that have helped me, so thankful for a program that supported me, that took me in, that had a genuine interest in my growth, that wanted me to succeed, that wants to give that to others. So I think when you see this program, or when I see this program as being such a beneficial thing to my life, I want that to go to other people. I want other people to have what I've had because I know there's a lot of people. I mean, I have a younger sibling, and I know that she can feel a little bit unsure about her career. And I tell her, get an MBA. She's like, I don't want to do business. But I'm just like, I know what worked for me, and I want so many other people to be able to take advantage of that. And that's why I just want to do whatever I can to feed that.
Well, we are really proud of that contribution that you make. It's just remarkable.
Thank you.
It's just absolutely remarkable. So if I remember correctly,
yes,
and I don't always, but if I remember correctly, you came from New York.
Yes, New York City.
New York City. So if you were speaking to people out in the podcast world, and we hope there's a lot of folks out there listening to the UT Dallas MBA GOAT.
Yeah.
If you were out there to talk to them and somebody from Boston or from Chicago or from LA who's looking to transform their life, looking for their career channel to get in to kind of elevate their life,
right?
What would you say to them about such an incredible culture shock from New York City to Dallas, Texas?
Well, I would say it couldn't have been better. And I had no idea how good it was going to be. But to me, part of it's the business community that you have here, not only in Dallas, but in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, to understand there are so many businesses, and UT Dallas has tremendous relationships. You can't go a week without there being some kind of event for some group, a job fair, a posting. It's so integrated. Now, I was fortunate being part of internal audit. I can speak to that. We had folks interviewing us on site at the university for our internships. I had a job before I even graduated. These things happen. And when you have that community to know, maybe you come here and you go back. That was my plan. I was going to come down here, year and a half, get my program, go back to New York City. I'm like, wait, I can afford a house? I can get a job. My wife got a job she's really likes. I see opportunity here. And so I think understanding that business community and understanding how UT Dallas, but then knowing that I love how removed it is from that. I like that it's in Richardson, that it's in a suburb, that it's away from some of the more hubbub. That I love that I love the beautification that's happened here. It looks wonderful. I see the transformation in that really growth, around the 50th anniversary and all that. But I just think understanding how tapped in UT Dallas is into the business community and how much the success of the program is by the jobs that people get and their success in their career. And so UT Dallas has a vested interest in that. And I've felt that in my 10 years since graduating.
Wow. I'm going to tell everybody we did it right.
Yes, definitely.
So I know you pretty well.
Yes.
So looking back, what is just the absolute most hysterical memory or funny memory or unexpected consequence, unintended outcomes that you remember from your journey here?
So one that sticks out to me is, as when you say most hilarious, that it is. So, when I was for the year that I was in the program, we went to Barcelona for a week. And so as part of that, we were able to, in groups of, we had groups and there were 10 groups, and we competed to be able to pitch our idea to La Caixa Bank, which is based in Barcelona. At the time, it was the largest savings bank in Europe, huge bank in Spain. And so they were interested in a case study of how do we enter the North American market. And so we broke up, there was 10 groups of 5, put together this pitch, and I just felt like I was with all stars, and I felt like it was just a great group. And so we were one of the 2 people that got to present. And so we present and we see this vice president, and he's engaged and he's asking us questions. And at the end, he said, I didn't have any hope or expectations that this was going to be worthwhile at all. And you blew my expectations, and this was tremendous. And there's that high. And then later that day, I ate an undercooked pork sandwich and decided that I should try to make myself retch to get it up. And so I'm doing that, and I'm with my roommate for the program. And I look at him and I said, as I'm kind of tearing and crying, trying to do this thing that I've never done before. And I was like, I pitched to the largest savings bank in Europe this morning. And that was just the highest highs and the lowest lows. So that's a very memorable time.
All in 24 hours.
In 24 hours, yeah. So
So I want to play a game in the last couple of minutes
Awesome.
of our journey. And I'm only doing it because you were a theater undergrad.
Sure.
And I want to see if I can have a little bit of fun. Okay, so I'm going to rapid fire questions at you.
Awesome.
And so you give me your quick answers.
Sweet. I'm in.
Okay. Class in the MBA program that you love the most.
Oh, internal audit.
Class in the program that you hated the most.
Oh, I think it was statistics.
Ugh, statistics. Can't agree with you more. What food did you eat most while you were in the program?
Ooh, Carmine's Pizza and Masala Wok Chicken 65.
What was the thing you disliked most about the program?
Ooh, I think, I'm doing terrible. I don't have a quick answer. Oh, that's good.
Maybe that's a good answer.
Maybe it is. It's hard for me. I think the times they stick out because the times when a classmate didn't meet their obligation, and I think I remember them because it was rare. But when it did happen,
it just left a bad taste in your mouth.
I did not like that at all. So yes, that was my least favorite part.
If you were going to put into maybe a single sentence and use a handful of adjectives to maybe, capture your feelings about your experience here, what would that commentary be to the school if you were going to kind of write an epitaph with regard to your experience here?
Wow. I mean, words like direction, focus, confidence, skill, that I gained all these things in my life that transformed jobs into a career and a lifestyle and the ability to live a life that I am satisfied and content and that I continually grow and that there's a symbiotic relationship between my personal life and my career and whatever I do for outreach or charity, that all feels like it comes from a single place, that UT Dallas gave me this perspective and gave me this ability to live that best life.
Wow, Elijah,
it's real.
It's real.
It's real. And I will say my wife would have tons of commentary on how happy she is because I didn't, growing up, my parents, they were able to go to, 2-year schools in the medical field, but, me and my sisters were the first folks to go to college and that seemed like enough. I didn't think about getting a graduate degree. And it really was my wife saying, we're going to do that. She's from Texas and, we met in New York City and she was like, look, we can go there. We can make this, life and she sees, she rubs it in my face all the time. There was definitely, I told you so, because I was just like, I can't do an MBA. I don't even know if they'll let me in. I don't think I have the skills. I don't think I can do it. And from her love and support, she's so glad I did this. Yeah.
I can't tell you how much fun this has been. It's always great to talk to an MBA from a decade ago and to just play a small part in your journey here. I always tell students when they graduate from the MBA program that we're going to take full credit for all of their accomplishments the rest of their life. So Elijah, we're going to take full credit for all of your accomplishments the rest of your life, and we are delighted. Thank you so much for being here on yet another UT Dallas MBA GOAT, and there is no doubt about it, you are the greatest of all time.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. I hope that you were inspired by the words you heard from one of our greatest of all time MBA GOATs. If you were inspired to think about getting an MBA degree, I hope that you'll be in touch with us. Give us a call, drop us an email, hop on our website, be in touch with us so that we can help you make a difference in your future. We look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of yet another MBA GOAT podcast. Join us online at MBAGoat.com to find episode notes, links, and more. Be sure to subscribe to yet another MBA GOAT podcast on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcasting app. If you like what you hear, please leave us a 5-star review. That will help spread the word about the podcast and the Jindal School's MBA programs. To learn more about the Jindal School's MBA programs, go to jindal.utdallas.edu/MBA.